Your work is all kind of with government politics on transport.
Yeah.
What do you see in like 2035? What would transport look like then?
First of all, like private cars, without doubt, will have a way smaller role.
Private cars.
Yeah, like single ownership cars. That's the first thing. Like cars are, I don't care. We both drive, so like cars have their like utility, but like as a resource, they're incredibly inefficient. I think it's something ridiculous. Like 98% of a car's lifetime is spent parked. Like, can you think of any other like, you have your phone, right? And like you spend like what, like maybe max like a few hundred, 800 quid on it, but you're using it like, you know, let's say you have 6 hours screen time, 18 hours awake a day, 33% of your waking day you're on it, right? Every day, and it's only, 800 quid. 800 quid for a resource you use 33% of the day. Relatively high utility coming off of it too as well, because they're just the most amazing pieces of technology ever, and you can't imagine life without them. They're literally like something out of science fiction. That's a pretty fucking good investment. That's what like I only got like a new phone there recently over Christmas. I hadn't got a new phone for like maybe 4 years before that or whatever. But like, yeah, it makes sense to do that. To spend money for it. Like the other end of the spectrum is like a car. It's like you might spend like maybe 5 grand or something, maybe more. As I said, 98% of its lifetime parked, and it's also like a huge carbon emitter. It's like when you boil it down to like logic like that, you're like, okay, well, I would have to save. I'm comparing these two resources. One's going to probably play a much more impactful role in the year 25, and one isn't. Obviously, with the need to like transport is a huge contributor to carbon emissions as well. Number 2, I believe, in Ireland. Number 1 in the UK. Varies globally, but like big contributor to carbon emissions. So that needs to go to zero, right, before 2050. So
that's just carbon. It's just fossil fuel cars, electric cars.
So you need to electrify. Correct. You need to exactly. You need to electrify. So, but I still think, regardless, I think private car, like single use private cars is going to go down. Shared cars will become much more popular. Carpooling, that sort of thing, and just a more efficient use of resources as well. Global shift to like the sharing economy anyway. People our age are buying assets less, preferring to rent. Then that's one big shift. Like, private car usage going down. I don't think it's going to be like a silver bullet. I'm not going to come on and just be like, oh yeah, like micromobility will cure cancer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. But it will play a strong role in like that first last mile problem. So like the first last mile problem is like the big problem micromobility solves, and it's like, okay, you need to get to, let's say, like, I always think of Cork when I think of the first mile last problem, because like we were going to school, it was like, okay, well the 232 left from like a 20-minute walk from the house, so we never got the 232 because it was like such a long walkway. So then Mum would either drive us to Maryborough, which is like a 10-minute drive, we get a bus into town, grand, or she'd drive us the whole way. Because you couldn't solve that 20-minute trip to our bus stop, we got cars instead, right? So that is the first mile, or the last mile is the biggest pain point in most journeys. So it's the hardest problem to solve because, and it makes sense, right? Like, it's like, if you're going from Ballincollig to Cork City, these are like the town we live in and the nearest big town, nearest big city. It makes sense to invest in infrastructure that'll get you from Ballincollig generally to Cork City generally, but not much to go from the housing estate we live in. Nobody's going to invest it to the school we went to. So it's finding those first last mile solutions, and that's where scooters are really good, because, a scooter, if we had scooters growing up, we would get our scooter to the bus and either share a shared scooter, or we'd own scooters. We would have gone to the 232. We would have got there on time every morning because scooters are really quick. We'd fold it up, get on, and get out, and we had no need for a car. You know what I mean? So I think micromobility, that's the kind of role it plays. I think depending on what country you're in, public transport will continue to play bigger role. I think active travel, so cycling, walking is going to be huge, particularly in Ireland. The current government, to be fair to them, and pushed on mainly by the Greens there, have committed to huge funding to cycling in Ireland. 365 million. £1 million a day in Ireland is being spent on cycling lanes.
What was it last year, or before the last government?
It's definitely, I think, more than like a 10x increase. I think.
Okay.
Maybe less.
So shit ton of
definitely
bike lanes, micro mobility scooters around the place.
Yeah, cycling and
Less
walking.
cars.
Yeah. Some councils in Ireland are really leading the charge in it. And to be fair, Dunleary Rathdown, which is the county council for Dunleary, Blackrock, that kind of area, Dublin, out to kind of Sandyford, are really leading the way on this. The director of transport there, his name's Robert Byrne. He's, to be fair, should follow him on Twitter. He's really good at promoting what they do. He's really interesting on Twitter. Always tweets about active travel. Really pushing the boat out there. Fingal County Council, director of travel there is Dave Story. Really pushing the boat out there as well. Doing lots of good active travel measures here in Cork. Doing great jobs as well on pedestrianisation. In summary, less private cars. I still think there's a role for shared cars, taxis, that sort of thing. More more scooters, more bikes. Less cars, more public transport as well. Hopefully, I love trains.
To listen to the full podcast episode or to check out my main channel, click the link in the description.